Welcome to the Tone Jerks podcast. I'm your host, Brian Gower, and with me today we got
Johnny
Ray. I think it's been a while since you've been on.
Yeah, a little while. I mean, in perspective, like early on, I would do them almost monthly, but a lot of shit's going on. So
I'm trying to think of like the last time you were here. You seen the fucking new studios set up?
Yeah. With I'm the like zebra just on the ceiling,
gray walls instead of the baby blue.
Brian went on safari and got a zebra skin to put on the ceiling.
Put a fucking got a new table, huh?
Yeah. Hey, you also got that in Africa, some acacia wood.
Yeah. And I got another shelf I added so I can put my waifus up.
Oh shit! I didn't even see that.
I'm staring at it.
Damn.
Anyways, I'm just like
the little skirts going.
Yeah. Hey, no peeking.
I'm like right underneath. I could see.
Just for
it's like a creepy old man.
Just for cartoon.
It's a plastic, figurine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Johnny, what's new? What's shaking? What's grooving? What is good with you?
Man, as of recording this right now, I will be entering my 40s tomorrow. And we're having a little bash, a little get together. So that's really it. I mean, there's probably other stuff, but that's kind of a big life thing.
Yeah,
I'm officially old,
40.
Yeah, and I can no longer get away with doing kid things. I have to find somebody else to do them for me.
No, we're gonna have fun tonight. We're gonna go see Big J.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're doing like some dumb shit. I'm like,
my birthday present to myself is us going to see Big J Okerson.
Get some beers, watch Big J,
and see if there's gonna be any rowdy idiots, Legion of Skanks fans, going, hey, Big J, like they did to Lewis.
Yeah, Jay, hey, Lewis.
I got my hair down so that Big J can talk shit about me to my face.
He's
while
definitely
we're front row.
A crowd work guy.
Yeah. He'll pick me out.
Or is it Kyle?
Every time.
Kyle says, like, I don't like Big J. It's
fuck that guy.
It's like, why? And he actually gave me an answer. It's like, because all he does is just, like, do crowd work and say slurs. And I'm like, Johnny.
Count me in.
Johnny, like, woo, 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 woo.
Yeah. As long as he's saying them, it's all good.
And I'm like, yeah, it's funny. But yeah. So Kyle is here in San Diego, but he should be busy doing work.
Should.
He's got to pack up all his stuff and get things ready and figure out how he's going to get him out to Texas.
Is he doing everything? I mean, he's doing a full pack out?
He's here for a week and a half, so he's doing...
Oh, wow.
So we
pre-recorded...
I don't think not until this... I don't know. I don't know what that means.
He'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. You asked me a question. I'm like, I kind of don't know.
I'm asking you a real estate question. That's what I do for a living. So
he's closer, I think, from what he said. So
cool.
But even if they don't get the house, he still has to do that work anyways.
Eventually.
He's like, I got to do it now. So might as well get it packed up, get rid of stuff, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm like, okay, we'll take the week off so that Kyle can actually get some shit done. And Johnny,
we need to drive down his block to see what he puts on the curb.
Yeah. Unless he's putting pedals out there, I don't want any of this shit.
Gonna put 6 motorcycles just on the curb.
The old podcast table. I don't know if he's gonna get rid of that. That's a good one.
I don't need that.
Yeah, and then pedals. If he gets rid of pedals, which those don't take up that much space.
No.
Well, actually they can.
Yeah. Oh fuck. Yeah, they can. I'm actually in that quandary right now. Is trying to reorganize because I went from a 2-bedroom house with a garage and yard and all that by myself to then living with my parents when the pandemic started to help them out and help me out. I mean, honestly, it's been mutually beneficial. I have a fucking bitchin' bank account right now, but on a brand new truck and all this. Anyway, I guess, we've already talked about that. What is new with you?
Well, I was going to hit you up because I don't think you've been on since you did that gig for the theater. That wasn't what's new, right? Or you don't want to talk about it?
This is the main episode. Any stranger can listen to it. I might say some disparaging things about some...
No name names.
Well, I can talk a little bit about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, do you want me to just go on it?
Well, yeah, okay. So the whole thing was, it's like you were playing or you're helping out like your uncle,
a family member. Yeah.
With
a theater gig. Basically, the first opportunity to be able to play, to be able to do theater post-pandemic. Things started opening up, and they were set up to do a performance in Balboa Park on a Saturday, and then the following day in Old Town San Diego. It's like a historic village.
Yeah.
On a stage, though, right? And I didn't have too much information other than my uncle came to my job one day, and he said, "Hey," and my aunt is working there helping us out during this whole pandemic because we didn't want to hire outside of the family with strangers. It's like we can share germs. It's fine.
The family.
Yeah, well, it's
thing
like
of ours.
We'd be in each other's circles anyway, so you just have her come in and help. And so he was there visiting. Just offhanded thing when he was leaving. Hey, we need a bass player for this gig. I went, yeah, I'll do it. What is it? Oh, he's family.
Yeah.
So. I didn't get a lot of information. I got a call from the musical director. Hey, you want to do this? Yeah, I'll help.
Yeah.
Sure. What do you need? Well, we don't have any of the music. We don't have any charts, which it would take me forever to read a chart this far out of college. I took a couple classes when I was 18. So it's, what is that? 22 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably just follow just the chords.
I could follow a chart, especially because I'm playing bass. But they didn't have charts, and the recorded music that they had was sparse.
Yeah.
So I listened to some of the recordings, but I didn't have enough time. They sent me the recordings the day before we were going to get together for the first rehearsal.
Which is not helpful at all.
Yeah. So I got to listen. So when I got to the rehearsal, and now nothing's set up, nobody knows what's going on really, from my perspective, anyway. From what I've done in the past.
As a musician coming in, that's not helpful at all. I feel like I've played in bands where I'm filling in just for punk rock bass or whatever. Like I've had bands where they just tell me nothing. And then they're like, oh, here are the songs. I'm like, what key is it in? What notes do I play? It's like, okay. And then when you get to practice, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to. He's like, oh, yeah, he's showing me there. I'm like, you couldn't have written this out? And then I've also had super helpful, which is like when I'm playing for Hardly Human, Google Doc with like the tabs, with the chords, with like the songs linked, and you just click on these download links if you want to get the stuff that's not on Spotify. I'm like, man, Mike fucking crushed that. And I'm like, because he's like, oh, I'll make this Google Doc because they were looking for a bass player. Like you can just send that to anybody.
Yep.
And I'm like, cool, send it to me, and I can always just refer to it. I'm like, that's the best one.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I don't think.
Anyways, but yeah, this is like a whole like musical director. I'm like, this isn't your thing.
Well, so let me jump forward a little bit. A conversation between me and my uncle later on was that, well, this is just kind of what local theater is. Okay, and I went, oh, all right, well, I'll just roll with it. But the first rehearsal, I didn't know the songs. I could kind of sort of jump in here and there. Some stuff was sort of written out. I went, all right.
I've seen you play, and I think Kyle and I once went to a Modern Love like writing recording session.
Oh, yeah.
And so you kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know what scale they're doing, and I'll follow along, and you're like, you're landing on the right ones. Because like, okay, I'm paying attention to the drummer, but I'm also the chords. And I can see you kind of like, when you're not fumbling because you're like, okay, I'm figuring it out, and people watch like, man, he's fucking ripping it, but you're actually kind of just and then you kind of land. So it's like I'm sure you did it. I'm like, man, this dude is good.
There was some of that. It was so. I mean, I guess my kind of process then is throw everything at it, and then start shaving away.
I'm definitely the opposite, where I'm like, I'll stop, and I'm like, if I don't know the part, I'm like, I'm like deer in the headlights. Like for like recently or like last month or whatever, doing Hardly Human, there'd be parts where I'm like, I just stop and I'm like, I don't remember where I am. I had to look at my notes. I've totally fucked up. Or it's like the part where I'm supposed to lead it, the solo. Like my timing was off, and then Matt, the drummer, was like, but he kind of tapping me in, like he's gonna like, oh, now I'm
helping you out.
I'm leading it now. You follow me. And it was good, that body language that you can kind of see. It's like Matt's like, I'm taking this over now. But if I didn't know a part, I sometimes would just stop. I'm like, ooh, or I do my slides.
Hey, that is a go-to from me too.
Yeah,
that's golden.
But yeah, so you're getting things going. You're starting to get some practices in.
Well, I mean, and I kind of there are no bass lines. There's a bass line for like one or two of the songs, and you got to remember these are theater, like musical theater pieces.
Yeah.
This is not what I normally play.
Yeah.
This is, pianos with weird times and stops and starts.
Did they have a drummer too, or was it?
Yes.
Percussion?
My uncle was playing drums. So That's why he needed the bass player, apparently. And cool enough, he and I had never ever played together.
Oh, wow.
So our first time playing together was doing a show together.
That's cool.
Which was cool. I've known the guy since I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
But I'd never played music with him, and he got me started on some cool music when I first started playing when I was like 17. So it was nice. It was nice to play with him. But he wasn't at every rehearsal either. So there were a couple times where it was me with all of these strangers.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah. And what was the whole band? Was it you said piano? It was drums?
It was drums, bass, and a guitar. The musical director was a guitar player with one of those Godin MIDI Roland GR synth things.
Okay.
So the Godin had the built-in, like 7 or 12 or 5,000 plug or whatever.
The 7-pin
The
or something
MIDI,
like that? Yeah,
the
yeah.
MIDI. Yeah, that goes to that. So he would, on a song, be playing a piano with his guitar. And, on another one being like playing organ or something. Right. And there was one song where I was emailed a dude sort of singing some lyrics. And there was rhythm to it. And I found where his voice was. He was in the key of A.
Yeah.
No, he was in the key of G.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, well, I go, my uncle says, there's nothing written for that. Can you do a gunka chicka gunka gunka gunka? I go, do you want, huh? What, you want me to play that mouth noise on bass?
That's almost as good as how, musicians talk to drummers. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and it was funk, and so it was basically up to me to write it. And then the girl that was going to sing it needed an A. Well, okay, that's fine. It's easy. It's a whole step up. I'll just but I needed to write music so that the drums could do their part.
Yeah,
and that so the girl could sing it.
Yeah.
I had to write the song.
That's crazy.
And
so you're like,
and I did it on the spot.
You're like, where
first
is
fucking
this
rehearsal
coming from? Yeah.
Yeah. It was completely eye opening that I realized that I do prepare when I'm in a band.
Well, yeah, when you're doing sessions, and that, I think we talked about that before. You're going into session work and stuff like that. You're actually thinking about like, what can I add to this? You're almost like somewhat familiar with the projects that you're doing.
Usually have a little idea.
And then we talked about like the gear that you bring. It's like, okay, I kind of
want
I want some fun things, but I also want to have like my bases covered and my bass covered. No, shut the fuck up, right?
I did,
but it's like you want like a rig that you like a utility knife kind of thing, but you want to have your special sauce in there too.
Yeah,
so you come prepared.
So
you come
check
fucking
this out.
correct.
I was not. I was like, well, how we're playing outdoors 2 shows. What is the rig gonna be? Do I get a massive rig because I need to play to a bunch of people?
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be small stages. You can just run off the PA. Well, what's the PA? It's like one fucking speaker. It's a mixer and one speaker. I go, okay. Well, I don't want to bring an amp because what's the power? Oh, well, there is no power at one of the shows. We're going off of a battery.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and I have for going out camping, I've got a battery. I went, you know what? I can just run my stuff off of my battery. And I realized after the first or second rehearsal, I didn't need an amp. I would just go DI from the MXR bass, the SCR DI. It's the DI with the scrambler circuit in there too.
Was it the Ampeg one or the
Ampeg?
MXR?
What did I say? MXR?
Yeah.
I meant Ampeg.
But you have both.
SCR DI.
Yeah.
So it has, because for a couple of the songs I needed to do a little bit of drive.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll pop that in. In fact, I did a little bit of drive on the funk song I had to write.
Yeah.
But every single rehearsal, which there were 4, I think, and they got worse and worse as far as who was there and how prepared people were. Yeah. Because we kept adding more people and they'd be less and less prepared. All the way up until the rehearsal the night before. I learned a song a certain way, and the singer came in and sang it differently, and so we had to adjust to her.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I wrote a cool part. Can't play it anymore. But yeah, I used a different bass every time until I finally found that my 79 Rickenbacker could cover all the bases that I needed.
Yeah.
With the gear on the floor that I had.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. It was so haphazard and so fly by the seat of your pants. It's not something I have ever done or had ever. I'd never experienced that sort of. I don't want to say lackadaisical because people were into it, but unprepared. So very amateur.
Yeah,
and that's what it was. It was community theater.
Yeah,
but God damn, I'm not used to that.
It could be just like a thing of like the certain level that you have for your own performance.
Mm-hmm.
The others are like, no, it doesn't matter. And then you get there and like the people a part of it or watching it, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter for this. Because they're more for the theater aspect of it or whatever.
Yeah, and then I realized when we were going to play the show, the part that I was doing was 1/3 of the whole show. It was like a theater review. There were 2 other shows, and then the last one, the finale, was the musical theater thing, and we played like 7 or 8 songs, and that was the finale. And then on the second day, we played with this dude who is a local newscaster who also does jazz stuff, and we did his song, and none of us learned how to play it, so I didn't play it. He had a piano player there who played it and sang, and then everybody in the cast, which I guess technically I was part of the cast at that point, I don't know. We all sang backups.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was just a strange thing. I had never, and I could add more to it that is really shocking to people, but basically it was to keep it PG. It was an eye-opening experience as far as preparedness.
It sucked dick.
Yeah, to keep it PG.
It fucking sucked dick.
I would maybe do it again because I think it made me a better player.
Yeah.
And it got me playing again because I had kind of put my stuff up for a while. But, God, it was... I mean, I was texting you.
You're telling me about it.
I'm man, I saw Co in the middle of that, and we were talking about it, and it just...
I think we were at Co's, the Co Fest, and it was like, like Steve's in the room. It's like, oh, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Yeah. ITY, dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I mean, I guess, as far as like my what's new, I don't have a whole lot. I honestly, and I hate to say it, I didn't really play that much this past week.
It happens.
I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah.
I maybe picked up the guitar unplugged, kind of fucked around, noodling a little bit.
You pick up your acoustic, bruh, head to the beach, bruh.
Well, I mean, it's funny because I'm like, I will pick up my Equids and play like acoustically before I pick up my Taylor 414 and play acoustically. It's
quieter. You're not going to disturb other people.
It's right behind you, hanging up there. I almost never pick up that goddamn thing.
Yeah, I don't either.
I was
don't pick my acoustics.
Messing around, shooting some videos and some B-roll because I've been thinking about like, oh, okay, if I want to do slow-mo, speed-up shots and stuff like that or whatever.
Shit.
And I'm like, okay, you have to kind of do some math because you got to think of like, I want the video to be in 24 frames, but if I want to slow it down, I should have it 60, and then I normally shoot 24, so I got to be like 150 shutter. And then I'm like, okay, well, I got to switch this, and so I'm like, man, I'm just changing all my camera settings. I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and just in my room, messing with lights and stuff like that, and focus lengths, and I
it's actually like Into the Wild, Christopher McCandless. I don't know, living in a bus, eating mushrooms.
Just fucking around with my different lenses.
Nice. Gee, how many lenses do you have? Those are very expensive.
I have 3 currently.
Ooh.
One kit lens that I was like, oh, I'm gonna keep this and use this. It could be good. I'm like, I think I could probably lose it, but it probably could maybe get $80 for it. So I might just hold on to it. But my 50 millimeter that I have, which is a Sony one, it's 1.8 F-stop. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, my eyes just got big. Like, what
Yeah,
are
you're
you
like, what the
saying
fuck?
to me?
Anyways, it's a 50 millimeter, which means it's more zoomed in.
Yeah.
So the bigger the number, like millimeter wise, is like how zoomed in it is. So when you see people with those telescoping fucking ones, that's how they shoot, like, you know, wildlife or birds or you know, cars or whatever.
Those are the ones you see the meerkats standing on top of.
Yeah. Those are like probably like 250 or 400 millimeter or whatever. So anyways, then
how much do they cost?
Oh god, it varies.
Yeah, they go from like what, $400 to $10,000.
Well, the Sony one that I have, which is 50 millimeter, I think it was like $100.
Oh, okay.
But it's all plastic. So if I drop that thing's
it's broken,
toast. And then I have my Sigma lens, which is $400, and it's a 60 millimeter. And I love that fucking lens. Nice. It's great, and it's like twice the size of all my other ones. I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea what the mechanics of lenses are or whatever.
You're just a size queen.
Exactly. Yeah. And so yeah, I was shooting my room tour studio video, which I think I talked about last week or whatever. And then just B-roll for different videos that I have planned that I just need to execute. But I figured, I'm like, I have everything set up to shoot, so might as well do that. And I'm using my Lazy Susan to kind of get some of those spinning cool shots, and I'm like, dude, I'm like fucking B-roll master. I'm like,
not so Lazy Susan.
Yeah,
putting her to work.
Peter McKinnon is gonna love this.
Yeah, I still don't know who that is. You guys have said his name before.
He's a YouTuber, videographer guy.
Oh, okay.
He's doing the Angels and Airwaves documentary.
Oh, okay.
So that's a name, yeah.
I know that name.
Yeah, so he's Boys with Tom. But yeah, that's kind of it, unfortunately. This is like the third or I guess fifth podcast I've done in like a week. So maybe that's why I don't have what's news.
Yeah, but, probably. You exhausted them all.
Yeah.
What's new? I took a gnarly dump, bruh.
I got to get out there and live.
Yeah.
Punching up my resume.
Yeah.
Which
nice.
I was asking a couple friends of like, oh, should I skills or whatever, or should I add the podcast somewhere? And people were like, yeah. And everybody said yeah.
Yeah, because that gives you character. You're an interesting person at that point. Because sometimes people are hiring on your personality, which it shouldn't. But, sometimes people are like, yeah, dude, I like this guy does all these things, or this girl does all these things. Yeah, let's bring them in. They'll bring some fresh, whatever. If nothing else, fresh meat. And then,
just to shit on and step on the corporate ladder, get up there, next rung. But they even talking to Brian, he's like, oh, totally, dude. Da-da-da-da-da. And then asked RJ, he's like, oh, yes, but you got to make it flowery. It's like just bullshit what it actually is. It's like, oh yeah, and he helped me out by writing something about how it's your podcast producer and marketing and expanding viewership to the market and whatever the words that he used. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna use that.
Well, because you do all that.
I'm not. Yeah,
it's not an untruth.
It's not a lie, but you just have to make it sound more interesting.
Yeah.
So it's just something because I'm like, oh, I've worked at the same place for years and never had to
100 years
for 15 years and never had to use
15?
15 years.
Holy shit.
And I still want to work for the company, but I want to go for different jobs. And for the company, they will oh yeah, you still have to add a resume. I'm like, you know me.
Yeah, my resume is here.
Is look at, you could pull up my reviews. It's literally just, it's why do you need a resume? It's like that, you've seen everything I've done.
Jesus.
It's just funny because I'm like, okay. So I gotta punch one up, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Because I was I think I wrote one maybe 3 years ago. I'm like, okay, let's see. I'm like, actually, it's all right. So I just had to add a couple things or change it.
It's been over 18 years since I've written one.
Yeah, I really just Googled it, how to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm
Google resume writer and then pay somebody to write it for you.
Well, I don't think a lot of people really look at them.
I don't know. I sort of looked when we were hiring an assistant for me. Mm-hmm. I looked at some of them, and but I just I was more looking at what they decided to include and how they wrote it, rather than, what they decided to include as far as where their thought process. But I wasn't really looking at their specific accomplishments as hard.
Yeah.
Because it was just an assistant job for me.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? They're basically just going to push paperwork.
Yeah,
So,
just pushing papers.
It's like a step up from McDonald's when you're my assistant.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of what's new. So this actually, I probably should have let off with this. This might be a little shorter of an episode. We might try and tack on another like little segment at the end there. It's because we got to go see Big J.
Yeah.
We got to go see him say some slurs. Just, okay. So I texted you just a bunch of random topics. And I have like a text thread. I actually have like a Johnny topic note on my phone. So we could maybe just hit any one of these random things. Okay, here. Let's just say, you started picking up guitar and playing for a band.
Yeah.
Let's say you had the opportunity that somebody's like, oh, Johnny, da-da-da. You mentioned that you want to join bands or won't join bands or whatever based on kind of the people involved. Of like the hang, you got to have like a good vibe. It's vibes only,
Yeah.
So
that has been true for me. Yeah.
So what if you were like in a group and then it's like, oh, I know all these people. I like them as musicians. I like them as people. I want to hang out. I like what actually has so far I've heard of their progress or whatever songs. And they're like, Johnny, but we want you as guitar.
I'd tell them they're fucking crazy. I'd say, you know how bad I suck at guitar? I'd get good real quick. But man,
if you're
I'm
like,
garbage.
oh man, this would be awesome. You could think of like, I think we're both at that age. I'm like, the stars, and we're gonna be big rock stars or whatever. Like,
no,
I've had to do it, and I have two rigs. I have a guitar rig that I really, really like, and I'm like, it's inspirational. I love the shit out of it. I mean, many of them. many guitar rigs, many of them. And then bass rig, I have a good solid one. Love the shit out of it. And then I have, it via digital form in a fractal. So if you were like starting a guitar rig, where would you start? How would you?
Shit.
I guess within reason, you wouldn't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna buy a fucking 59 Les Paul.
No, that's exactly where I'd go. I'd just do that. I'd get ridiculous. No, that's not true. I would probably go for something like
what I guess
like a duo sonic or something.
Yeah,
something
what kind of
that
band
I
do
can
you think
thrash around.
Yeah,
and,
would you play guitar for? I guess what kind of music?
It'd have to be something that's really not virtuosic.
Mm-hmm.
It'd have to be something where you could see a 14-year-old kid, without a pick and no strap, kind of hugging it into his body, kind of, strumming with the nail of his index finger, looking at the fretboard, trying to figure out how to place his fingers.
Kind of rock, kind of punk, kind of garagey, kind of just...
It would have to, it would have to be like a very garagey kind of punk where I could mask my shitty playing with distortion and...
reverb and delay shit.
It would be less about technique and more about attitude.
Hell yeah. No, I mean...
That's all I'm capable of.
Duosonic would be rad for that, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm capable of on guitar. I'm not very good on guitar. But I can throw all kinds of attitude all day and night. Would you go
amp distortion or pedal distortion?
Fuck. That would be tough because you remember I'm trying to mask my shitty playing. But I think I would go, because I suck, I would go with less distractions and I would just go with amp distortion.
Okay.
I'd try and do just basically a tuner. Maybe some reverb, but probably not.
A JCM 900, 800, something like that?
Yeah, something with enough balls to, convey the vibe without being like a stadium sound.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be polished. I'd want it to be mean and nasty and gross. And I would imagine they'd probably want me to sing too.
Yeah.
If they're asking me to play guitar, I'd be like, why are you just wanting me to play guitar? That's stupid. I suck.
Rhythm guitar singing kind of deal.
Yeah, they'd probably want me to do that. And I can bring the attitude there too. Sound like a whiny bitch.
I got a bitch. Got bitch vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's rad. It's kind of just like super solid, and you really can't go wrong with that.
Yeah,
the super simple approach I really like.
And I guess that's kind of safe for me. That would be a safe thing for me to do because I can do that.
Maybe like less options because you're like, oh, let me try this for this guitar part. You're like, oh shit, never mind. Like a stomping on pedals if you have like a giant like dinner table pedal board.
It'd be too distracting. I would want it to be all about the energy and the vibe. And that's probably a cop-out because that'd be easy for me to do. It wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be easy, but I'm capable of it. If somebody asked me to play guitar and do like some metally kind of meadlies and like get all I'm not capable of that. Do some sweep arpeggios and stuff. I could get there, but I'm not there.
I couldn't, and I never would get there.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be into it.
I have a buddy. He's been on the show, Will Lopez. He's like filling in for pop punk band or punk band, and he's like, oh, I'm thinking of like, because he's like a classic rock kind of guy.
Oh,
he's like,
okay.
it's like I have my Les Paul. He's like Slash is his dude.
Okay.
It's like okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, it's like, but I'm filling for a punk band. It's like, what kind of rig, like pedal board? What kind of pedals do I need for pop punk? And I'm like, not really a lot.
Yeah, not much.
I'm like, you have your Marshall. He has a JCM 2000. I'm like, that is the 2000s pop punk. That and a dual rack. Those two just head to head. I'm like, or JCM 900.
Yeah, and get some garbage from the 90s.
I'm like, or just like with tube screamer, noise suppressor, tuner. That's it.
Yeah.
Just see, like
again, garbage from the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, get like NS2 or whatever, noise suppressor, noise gate.
Yep.
You don't really use a lot of noise gates, do you?
Me? No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the only time I would ever consider some sort of noise gate is if I would have some sort of compressor limiter at the end of my chain.
Yeah.
But that's
for
about
bass,
it.
you're mainly using compression.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my stuff, sometimes the stuff I use gets pretty noisy, but, I work it into the sound.
But I think for like pop punk, where you're doing like the chugs and the stops, and I'm like, dude, simple. You leave them, the tube screamer and the noise suppressor on the whole time, and then tuner just to tune. And I'm like, you'll never use anything else. And he's like, oh, that actually sounds great. I'm like,
yeah,
super minimal board. I'm like, that'll be good. And that's kind of like your idea. I'm like, just keep it minimal, and like you're gonna mainly just play for the song, not for you, or not for like the instrument.
Yeah, that's and it would grow from sort of like a garagey kind of fuzzed out vibe into maybe like Stooges, all the way up to like more of a rock and roll, MC5, New York Dolls. That's about as adept musically as or on the actual instrument as I would probably ever get.
You don't really play guitar or noodle around on it, do you?
Not for a while. I mean, I have some recordings of me playing guitar.
Or even just at home, you're
not really. I don't even have one out.
You don't have one out, yeah.
No, there's a smattering of acoustics all around the house. There's actually a lot of instruments all throughout the house: piano, banjo, ukuleles, mandolin. I have 2 or 3 basses in the house. But there's a lot of stuff. But none of it really ever gets picked up.
It's mainly basses.
Yeah, mainly. Right now, the one that I have out is that 70s Univox Dan Armstrong Lucite copy. That's the one that I have out. I've been noodling here and there.
Yeah, and if you got, because you were saying that Ampeg Scrambler DI deal, you're still using that, and it has a headphone out. You can kind of just use that.
Oh yeah, I technically still have that board for the for that show for the theater gig built. It's just tuner compressor. DI with the scrambler. Yeah. That's all it is
that's
on
right.
there. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
so that's easy to play through.
Guitar, you're probably like, the same thing for me. I guess I almost never pick up my basses to like noodle or mess around with. I only do them if I'm doing work.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like that whole thing. It's like, oh, I have guitars around. I will pick one up unless I need to.
Yeah. That's
which
how
I hate.
do it.
I hate that. I need to practice. Actually, and like I say that, this past week I didn't pick up a goddamn one.
Yeah.
Totally did not pick up goddamn like pedal or guitar or anything. Didn't plug anything in. I'm like, damn, that sucks. I think I was talking with Andrew Walsh, and he was just like, he's like, oh, I kind of feel bad because I haven't played. I've been like working or doing shit around the house. I'm like, that happens. I'm like, dude, I'm just staring at these damn things. I'm like, yeah, I'm a fucking. Well, I'll do podcast edits or work out, and then I come home. I'm like, oh, I have time to play. Now we're gonna watch YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Rub one out.
But yeah, rub one out. Just cranking my hog. All right, I think we're good. Maybe there's gonna be another segment. If not, we're gonna cut it off here. Johnny, thanks for joining.
Yeah, it's Let's do this.
Let's go see Big J.
Let's go get rowdy.
Yeah. All right. We will see you guys. And hey, if it's short and you guys had a longer one last week. Come on. That's my excuse.
I don't think I finished it yet. I think I started it yesterday.
It's a long one. I was like, realizing it's like an hour and a half.
Dang. That's like when I used to come on before. We used to do like hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, maybe we used to just fucking get drunk and do it.
Should have split them.
Yeah. But anyways, we will see you next week. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So we're so thanks to Johnny for doing
the
main part of the episode.
I just farted.
Yeah. I saw you step aside and your face was like So thanks for Johnny for doing the first part of it, but happy to get Kyle to do the name read here.
Yeah.
So just want to say thanks to everybody for
we're outside by the way.
We're at Johnny's place. We're outside. And we're we
might hear some jets flying over.
Yeah, we're on location. But having to see Kyle today.
Yeah,
we're at Johnny's place for a barbecue.
A little shindig going down here.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to get Kyle to do the name reads.
Yeah, since I'm so good at it.
Yeah. So thanks for everybody for tuning in. You can find the show. Follow along on social media. Yep, that jet. Yep. Hopefully noise will cut. I can cut that out.
I mean, it'll probably be fine.
Just thanks for everybody for tuning in. You can follow along on social media. Facebook. We have a Facebook group. Instagram. We're at the Tone Jerks. And then if you like the show, you can help support it on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Yep, that's getting louder. The further it goes away, the louder that jet
We want more of that, actually. I'm going to aim the microphone at it.
Yeah. So, you can help support the show for as little as $1 a month. But if you double down for $2 a month, you get an extra episode every week. And, just for the support, we want to give you all a huge shout out, a sizable acknowledgement. Kyle, you got a list over there?
I got it right here, right in front of me. Oh, yeah, on your phone.
Yep.
I just hate it when you're looking at someone else's phone and it locks. And you have to give it back to them. You're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Just recognize my face.
I don't know why. How come you put my face there? That's what we should do for each other's phones. Because you can add another person.
I don't want to know what's on your phone.
Yeah. Don't go to any other tabs on there.
Yeah. All right. We have Michael McVeigh.
Don't go to my bookmarks either.
There's some good saves in there.
Yeah. Don't go to the homework tab.
Homework. Biology 101.
I have not been in school since 2006. I'm like, what the fuck is a homework folder for? On your iPhone.
Matthew Fenslaw from our group and every other group.
Yeah.
And I know he was going around in the middle of the night posting on other groups.
We're looking. We're seeing.
I see you. I see what you're doing. Tyler Rhines from Tyler KC Riffs.
There you go.
Jonathan Jerizik from 12th Hour Devices. Tim Nowick from Bardic Audio Devices. Scott Hamilton from the Effects Loop Podcast. Eric Marrow from Elm Effects. I almost said ELM.
Yeah.
ELM Effects. There's a creek I drive over all the time, and I see it's Elm Creek.
Yeah.
And I go, look, it's ELM Creek. I'll snap a picture. I'll post it.
Yeah.
One day.
What's so funny about that?
I know. Zach Hale, Mike Oxbig, Hugh G-Rection.
I'm not hearing any piano, by the way.
No, we got kicked out of that room because someone's playing piano.
We were at Johnny's place. I'm like, oh, here's a room that nobody's in. And then we go in there. I'm like, oh, we want to play guitar. We want to play piano. I'm like, all right, let's go outside.
We got, let's see, Juan Ortiz, Steve Rao from 60 Cycle Hum, Sean Wright from Lollygagger Effects. We have, I gotta remember this name because I think it's unofficially written down on mine. It's Mel Chibson.
Oh, yeah.
Of Chibson Effects. Or no, Chibson Guitar.
Chibson Guitars. Got a real name there. Got to keep
They have
alias.
effects, though. They do make effects.
Yeah, Chibson Effects. I think they make memes, if anything.
Yeah, they're hardcore in those memes. It affects my life.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Boom. Nicholas Ogburn.
Still don't know the difference between effects and affects.
Oh, yeah. I kind of probably should look it up in a
always
dictionary.
I always do, and I just I fucking forget it.
Yeah, you look it up. Oh, that's it. And then 5 hours later,
I don't
the
remember
fuck am I doing with my
damn
life?
thing.
Brian Nutter of Nutter Guitars. Nicholas Payson. Alvaro Viramontes. Colin Smith of Mr. Specific. Sean Fahey of San Antonio area, the greater San Antonio area.
Yeah.
We have Kevin E. Quits from E. Quits Guitars. Steve Mike of Hardly Human. Sean Arbo from Gun Street Wiring Shop. Doug King from Doug King's Emporium.
The Doug Kingdom.
The Doug. Oh yeah, that's right. Doug Kingdom.
Kingdom.
Andrew Walsh from Andrew's Alcove, and also from Nova Scotia. I
Yeah.
assume that's where he's from. I know that's where he is.
I don't know. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
One person.
yeah. Give us some more of your security questions.
Yeah.
Where were you born? Which hospital?
What was the first car that you ever had?
Yeah.
If you had to name your mother's maiden name, what would it be? If you had to give us your
If you had to
mother's
guess your mother's name,
what would it be?
we have Doug Christ from 37 Effects, Masters of the Cinematic Universe. I had to say it and it still didn't sound natural. Cinematic Universe, Masters of the Cinematic Universe, and Just Surprise Me. Those are podcasts you guys should check out.
Yep.
We have Jason Fuzzmonger, Jamie Davis.
You know, we could just have this list written on a Google Drive so that you could pull it up on your phone, pull it up on your computer, pull it up on. Yeah.
Look, man,
Shut up.
I don't believe in technology.
I don't believe in prepping.
Yeah. We have
not that kind of prepping.
Will Lehue from the Just Surprise Me podcast.
Yeah.
We have Abe Newman. We have Joe from Like My Pedals.
Yeah.
Just Surprise Me. And Masters of the Cinematic Universe. Is there anything else he does?
He probably does a lot.
Oh, yeah. Illicit things.
We got Johnny, you were already on the podcast.
Yeah.
You could
You
come
can
back.
be here, yeah. Oh, actually, you know who we're
Yeah.
we're about to read.
Johnny Ray. Oh wait, is it my other name? Howie Filter Snatch, aka Johnny Ray.
What were some of the
No,
other
it's A-K or FKA.
Oh, formerly known as.
what were some of the other names that you had? You were doing your Pokemon Go, or was it ones that you can name on the show?
On the show?
You're like
No,
aliases.
probably not. Well, I mean, they let him on the game, so there was a Lemmy Fillerguts.
That's good.
Damn.
And then there was Howie Filderguts.
How he filled their
I mean,
jeez.
I didn't say any of that.
That was good, Lemmy.
We got
yeah,
a
the
couple more
birthday
names
boy.
here. We got R.J. Smith from Teletalks and Teletalks fame. We have and he also moonlights on some other podcasts.
Yeah, Just Surprise Me. I think he's on our podcast every once in a while.
Yeah,
and he's
moonlights on ours.
yeah.
And
then
your videos, and he has
Yeah.
his own podcast, right?
yeah.
How's he doing with that one?
I don't think they're doing it anymore. So
Okay.
he's kind of just focused.
But you can still tune in on that.
yeah,
right?
yeah. There's still Renegades of Pop,
There it is.
but yeah.
And we got Co Schneider from the Flippin' Flippers podcast, and you know what? He's actually coming up right here too.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. We're at a little bit of a shindig here.
Yeah.
We just did your name read on the
You missed it.
Patreon. Yeah, you missed it.
Oh, God damn it.
But you can catch it later on. I won't. Okay, thanks.
I'm not going to tune in.
Well, that was that's good. That's, I guess, how we're going to end it. Thanks, Co.
Yeah. You're welcome. Was that the last one?
That was the last
Okay,
one.
because, it's all in a different
I know,
order.
it's all out of order.
All right. Thanks, Kyle, for, stopping by.
Yeah, I had to swing by. I flew in just for this read here.
Yeah.
You know,
All right,
my
thanks.
arms are tired.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.